Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard. I'm Mike Ackelson, along with Anthony Hartwig. We got a lot of our announcers getting ready to hook up and call in for us tonight. Final week of the regular season.
That's it. It's under wraps.
Wow, did it go fast? It felt like 3 weeks.
I know.
No, it didn't. You've written a lot of stories. How many stories you write in 10 weeks?
We had over 850 pieces of content since August 1st.
See?
And a lot of those are football.
You guys were busy.
So
I come in and just have fun on Friday. I brought them pizza tonight, so they were happy.
Elmton. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyhow, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to go to Michael McKenzie. We are going to run down the scores here for you in a few moments. But first, let's bring in Michael. That one was a tough one for the Beavers tonight. But unofficially, according to Joe Itel's website, they are in the postseason, but they're going to hit the road.
Yeah, they're going to hit the road. So what the situation was going into the game was if both teams lose, there was a likely scenario where they went out. But for Beaver Local, a loss would be less detrimental to their playoff hopes. Obviously, they're going to have a much tougher matchup. They're going to have to go on the road now as opposed to potentially getting a home game. But what a win for Lakeview. Derek Bush, first year as head coach, takes them to the playoffs. They clinch that playoff. And, I mean, that was just a really well-played game by Lakeview tonight.
Yeah, we saw Beaver Local late in the game, Michael. They get the ball back right about midfield, and I'm thinking, hey, this offense has been pretty good. Do you think your dad would like some of them plays back or was it the Lakeview defense that kind of maybe forced the hand?
I think it was a little bit of both. Lakeview's defense played really well all game, and I think that Beaver Local wasn't expecting to have as many issues offensively as they did. So then you're starting to maybe second guess things. I don't know what's going through the head of the coaching staff there, but the play of the Lakeview defense very well could have affected how late in the game Beaver Local calls those plays. I definitely think that Coach McKenzie and the rest of those guys are going to want a couple of those plays back, those first and second down plays maybe. They're going to want those back when they go back and watch the film and get ready for a potential playoff game next week. But that Lakeview defense was really well. I think that the last time Beaver Local scored less than 20 points was Niles. And obviously Niles is a really good football team, the Red Dragons. And then I think before that, it was Glenville in 2021 that held the Beavers under 20 points. So Lakeview did something that very few teams have done in the last few seasons. So they deserve a lot of props, that defense, specifically Anthony Brown. He had 3 interceptions, including one with about 3 minutes left that almost sealed the deal. But obviously Beaver Local got the ball back one more time. Lakeview's defense stood up strong, but Anthony Brown had a really good game, 3 interceptions, kind of like the center fielder he played for that Lakeview defense tonight. He deserves a lot of props defensively.
One of the biggest problems that Lakeview's defense really showcased was their pass rush. I mean, I think we saw Austin Klein run for his life a lot. And I think with those last plays, if I remember correctly, they tried to roll him out a little bit, just try to, get him a little bit more room to use his feet to improvise. What do you think? I mean, what was the difference? What did Lakeview do so well to get a good pass rush on Austin Klein?
I couldn't tell you what they did differently compared to the other weeks that was successful this week. I feel like a lot of it had to do with momentum, and they played with an extra edge on both sides of the ball, it seemed like. Their offensive line created a lot of running lanes for Boom Gillis and Thomas Easton, and then that defensive line obviously wreaked a lot of havoc on Austin Klein. And the thing is, before that, Austin Klein had made a couple of big plays just scrambling in the backfield, didn't get brought down. But when they needed it most, Lakeview was able to finish the sack, finish off the play defensively, and get the win.
All right, they're going to have to wash this bad taste out of their mouth pretty quick. We know they're going to be on the road. Unofficially, they would play Cardinal Mooney in the first round.
2 YSN schools, so at least from your guys' perspective and from DJ's perspective, that's going to be a good matchup. But definitely one Beaver Local is going to have to buckle down and prepare as well as they have any other week, if not more so. Playoff game, do or die against a team like Cardinal Mooney. Should be a fun game, but it's going to be a buckle down. Wash that out. That's done now. That's in the past. It's time to look ahead.
All right, Mike. Thanks for joining us. Great call as always, man. And what a game you had. I mean, I know it didn't go the way you really wanted it to go, but what a game.
Hey, you can't ask for anything more than a great football game in Week 10 on a Friday night. That's all you can ask for.
All right, man. We appreciate it. I know we'll see you next week during the postseason.
Lakeview side of that win, though, they played themselves into a playoff spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to give them all kinds of credit. I'll tell you what, this division is going to be crazy. Division 4, Region 13. I mean, I'm looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, possibly 10 YSN schools are going to punch their ticket.
It's good for us. We're doing something right. Let's bring in Noah Ricks. He had a good call, and the game didn't go our way at a YSN school for this one, but Noah's always up for a good call, good football. Noah, how we doing, buddy?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing good.
I know it didn't go the way you were hoping tonight, but it was a tough year for Howland. But what I like tonight, those guys never quit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Coach Brian Jones really has that culture. I have been talking with him a little bit, and the positive mindset, you got to keep in mind. The positive mindset is what really kept guys, the seniors, going out in their last game, just gave it all they got to the very last play. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get a spike off in time, but they played with a lot of fight, and you got to consider the fact that I don't think Coach Jones really lost many kids, maybe not even any kids throughout the season. So you got to give a lot of credit to him, and he is going to turn that program around definitely in the short-term future.
Where do you see what would be the biggest thing that they could get rolling? Because if I look back at their schedule, 3 times they were shut out. Once the most points they scored in a single week was 16 this season. So from an offensive standpoint, they've got to find something to get that moving, because I think that also puts your defense in a lot of bad situations because they're on the field most of the time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think the offensive line is something that Coach Jones wants to pay attention to in the offseason. The quarterback, John Perry, didn't really have that much time to throw the ball throughout the course of the season. So I think a key asset is getting your O-line in. Also, Coach Jones did say they were a little inexperienced at the skill position, so definitely try to get those guys in the weight room and try to get those guys conditioned and ready to play in 2024. So, yeah, I think the offense should improve on that.
Yeah, and then when you think about their defense, there were games where Howland's defense looked pretty impressive. What can they build on the other side of the ball?
Okay, so the defense, they did a great job tonight against University in the first half, holding them to 7 first-half points, but just trying to stay off the field as much as possible, and that just goes along with the offense, just trying to keep that defense off the field and just defense just trying to play a full 48 minutes of football. They are able to get like a great stand, a blocked field goal. So I think they can definitely build on that if they and the offense can be on the same page.
All right, man. Hey, we appreciate you calling in. Tonight we are filling up. Everybody's calling us.
Oh, man. We got
a
lot of
27-0 the final. University School over Howland. I know bigger and better things are ahead for the Tigers. You got to take your lumps, though, before you can run.
Absolutely. This team is definitely going to go a long way. They do have a lot of work to do, but in the future, they are definitely going to be successful. I am confident that they will.
All right. Thanks, Noah. We appreciate it.
No problem.
I jumped the gun there. I almost called him Eric Hughes.
Oh, almost. We have him next, though.
All right.
Pop in Eric.
Let's get Eric in here, and he's smiling. He's happy. He's warm now.
He's warm. A big question: did you get the wedding soup? It was a colder day in Lowville.
He went sauce.
Oh, I didn't get the wedding soup. Their chicken parm is just so good. That's what I ended up getting
that's
again.
Okay, chicken parm. That's okay. I like the red sauce. We're good.
Yeah.
What a ball game you saw tonight.
Yeah, I mean, early on the Power Hour, I was talking some stuff, really hyping up Lowville. I wrote a couple of checks and they cashed them for me. So I'm thankful for that.
That's why he's smiling.
He's like, thank you for making me sound smart.
I like not only the way their offense played, but I really like the defensive effort tonight because they slowed down a pretty good offense in Springfield.
Yeah, I mean, for years, Lowville, they've been known for their offense. That's always been their calling card. And while their offense can still be dynamic at times, it's really been all about their defense this year. You know, holding a bunch of teams to under double digits this year. Yeah, it's been great to see, man. And that should take me farther in the playoffs this year, I think.
Eric, do you think this was the game where their defense kind of made their presence known, kind of under the radar all year because of how good their offense has been? But this is probably the one game you could circle on their schedule where they needed that defense to win.
Yeah, I mean, their defense got put in a lot of tough spots in this game.
Mhm.
This game kind of had like a Steelers-Ravens kind of feel to it. It was like all about the defenses for most of that game, really. They were backed up in their own red zone multiple times. They were able to get some stops and bring the offense back out there. Offense was able to capitalize there at the end.
I'll tell you what. What do you think? The Rockets got some nice momentum now heading into the postseason, and according to Joe Itel, it's unofficial, but they've locked up a home game.
Yeah, that's big, man. I mean, that Rockets crowd tonight, the press box was shaking for most of that game. I expect it to be even more, to be shaking even more if they do get that home playoff game. It's a small
Props to you
town.
because I gotta tell you, if I'm in a shaking press box, I'm having a panic attack.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting there like,
See, what this tells me, if it's true and they get this home game, wedding soup with the chicken parm. Don't eat all day.
Ooh.
Go both.
Okay, all right. I will
Go
get
big or-
if they get the
go
home
big
game,
or
I
go
will.
home.
You know what? No,
I will.
buy
I
the
got
wedding
you.
soup for whoever's your sideline reporter because they're the one that has to be on the cold the whole time.
That's their.
Put
I
it,
got you.
put it out in the thermos.
I know you got to see Springfield tonight, and their team. It also right now unofficially has locked up a home game. They would play Monroeville. So, what was your impressions getting to see Springfield tonight, Eric?
First of all, I just want to give them credit real quick. I know tonight they didn't play their best game, but I know they're going to be a tough out-forward team they have to play against. Dante Gentile, the running back, he's a stud, had 13 touchdowns this year, if I'm not mistaken, and he's going to be a problem in the playoffs. But yeah, I wasn't their best game, but I think they're going to go extra hard in practice this upcoming week, and they're going to be ready for the postseason.
All right, man. We got lots of guys calling in tonight. We appreciate it, Eric. We're going to let you head on out, enjoy whatever you're doing, get your story written and all that good stuff, and get ready for the postseason. Unofficially, you don't have to travel very far next week.
Hopefully. All right.
Thanks, Eric. All right, so he's in, and
All right,
next,
Mr. Ty Bartell.
Here,
He
wait.
had a good one.
I have to announce it the right way, Mr. Big Game, Ty
Big
Bartell.
game, Ty
If there's
Bartell.
ever a big game, who gets it but Ty Bartell?
The master from Ashtabula County.
Bring him in.
Bring him in.
Did you like that?
What's
answer?
up, guys? A lot of fresh faces you're seeing. I figured I'd bring a little old one on for you guys for this week 10.
No school like the old school.
All right. What did Fitch change at halftime? Because everything was going Harding's way in that first half. And I could even tell, like, even you seemed a little bit frustrated at times, but the second half was just a different game for the Falcons.
I think it honestly was just confidence, right? I mean, I think seeing things not go their way, that fumble inside the 10 didn't help. The amazing interception that Harding was able to get on Deshaun Vaughn to kind of thwart momentum didn't help. But I really think what the Falcons did really well was just have that belief in themselves coming out of halftime. They knew they were going to get the ball. They knew they needed to score. They ate up 5+ minutes of the clock, able to take it down the field, get that score, get that turnover from a Rocco DeFlorio forced fumble and a recovery from Davion Pritchard. They punched it in, getting it to my man Junie Higgs wide open. They got that lead 14-13 and never looked back. And I think it was just playing with confidence, playing with momentum.
Ty, what I loved about this game, and I think you said it best, it showed the team unity that they believed in each other. Because after that Madison-Washington game, it would have been really easy for players in that locker room to start pointing the fingers, start diversifying themselves a little bit of team division. Never happened. They got back on the horse the next week. They took care of business against Boardman. Came out in this game, wasn't going right for the first half. And they're young kids. You could have really seen that downfall really quick. But no, they geared it together at halftime. Talk about the mental toughness of this Fitch team going through all they've gone through this year and to be able to win a game like that the way they did. Did we lose Ty?
He's freeze frame right now.
Freeze frame.
All right. Hey, do us a favor. I know Ty can hear me. When you try to give us a call back, buddy, we're going to move on to Derek right now. But as soon as we can get Ty back, we'll bring him back on, okay? That's how we work. Oh, wait, there he is.
There he is. We got him in the nick of time.
Dude, that was the best mime thing
We're
I've
going
ever
through
seen.
Columbiana County, boys. It's a little bit foggy out here with the connection right now. But go on, hit me up at the end of it. I heard most of your question, Ann. What was the last part of it?
The end of it was talk about the mental toughness of this Fitch team to be able to win the game the way they did tonight after all they've gone through this season. Maybe.
Coach Parker talked about it too with me after the game a little bit. And I mean, talking with Coach Parker after the game, he talked about, expectations. You don't get as many wins as you think during the season, but you can't let that affect that team mentality, and you can't let that derail what you're still trying to do. And I mean, I know after losing consecutive weeks to Ursuline and to Massillon, Washington in the fashion that they did, there were some questions surrounding it. But that 36-0 shutout against Boardman, a lot of it was defense and special teams, and that was really what carried the win here tonight. Not that the offense is struggling, they're just seeing some really tough-nosed defenses. But as you know, man, going into the wins those big-time games, and the Falcons showing some really good, gritty defense coming up at the right time with playoffs just on the horizon.
All right, I can't let you go without saying this. You mentioned special teams. When it looked like it could be a loss, they took the snared victory out of the jaws of defeat with a great effort in blocking that field goal.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about it, a blocked extra point, a missed 45-yard field goal that the Falcons created pressure, and a blocked field goal, again, an attempt from 32 yards. Those three plays win the game for you. You took 7 points off the board for Harding on the special teams unit, and you got to give credit to that. That was the biggest head of the three-headed monster tonight, and not too often does the props and love go to the special teams unit, but you got to give it to that Falcons special team squad. They're the ones who went out there, won the game. They got that lead, and they never allowed the Warren Harding Raiders to get that lead back. Those couple field goal, the blocked field goal, the missed field goal, and then that blocked extra point made all the difference in this one.
Not the first time Fitch has blocked a Warren Harding field goal in a big game in a big situation.
Not the first time.
Not the first time, Ty.
It's not, and it always feels like these two teams, when they match up, you're in for a good football game. Fitch is 19-17 all time against them now. It's always a close one and always a good battle.
Here's the thing, Ty, though. We've checked it out unofficially, but they're not going to meet each other in the playoffs in the first round.
Oh, man, we're not getting another one.
We're not. Unofficially, though, according to Joe Itel, and I know the official ones come out Sunday, Fitch will get a home game. That means you get more Wedgwood pizza.
Mm.
They will play Shaker Heights. Unofficially, though, right now. It's not official. So they would be the 8th seed.
I was going to say probably 8 or 7 seed they're looking at then, right? And you know what? What more can you ask for if you're Coach Parker's squad, too? After those 2 losses to Ursuline and Massillon, you were questioning not only if you were going to get a home game, if you were going to be able to squeak in, because if one of these last 2 weeks don't go your way, you might not be talking about that. But you got to be proud of these kids on this group, too, and guys like Rocco DeFlorio, Davion Pritchard, Dan Evans III. After a big injury to DJ Williams last week, they carried it. But also, how about the young guys? DeAndre Richards scoring tonight, Junie Higgs scoring tonight. That's a freshman and a sophomore coming up big time for the Falcons, and you're going to need guys to step up here in Week 11.
Absolutely,
all right, man.
Ty. Great call.
Yeah,
thanks for calling in, as always, and drive safely.
Postseason.
Will do. I'll see you guys soon. Always love talking to you guys.
Thanks, Ty. All right, Fitch a winner,
Right.
14-13. They block an extra point. We're not done yet.
No.
We got lots of guys
We got
on. And I love
down
it
the
tonight.
road, Mr. Derek Rhodes.
Yes.
How about that?
And he had a nice game. He was sitting there front. He had a great bird's eye view for United as they crushed those slim hopes of East Palestine making the postseason. They had to win and had to have like 11 teams lose, Derek. It didn't happen because United took care of business 40-0. Tell me what impressed you about the Eagles' effort tonight, because they could have overlooked this one really easy.
You're right. And we all know the story with the United Eagles. It's Ogilvy and it's Courtney, and it's all night long. However, gentlemen, tonight the defense showed up. We had 2 interceptions by Logan Casto tonight, one for a return 52-yard pick 6 return, first score of the game for the Eagles. The defense showed up tonight. They did not break. East Palestine was inside the red zone 3 different times. no points. They either got a turnover or a turnover on downs. Defense was the key tonight for the Eagles, and something we really haven't seen a lot of this year.
It's the right time of the year for defense to be peaking because now things get a lot tighter starting next week.
That is for sure. Everybody at the Eagles Nest is real happy to host a game next week, but and I really think that they got a chance to make a run. Of course, there's always Kirtland, so we'll see how that plays out. But we're looking forward to a home game in United.
Actually, I'm going to make you smile right now because you might not have to travel the first 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Unofficially, they have wrapped up the 4th spot.
Nice.
So you win, you get 2 home games out of this. That would be big.
Very nice.
So, and I know DJ Ogilvy would love that because that is still an old grass field. People love coming and playing on the grass this time of the year because the weather can be iffy, as it was tonight. I don't know if you had any rain or not, but you look at that and you better believe those guys will be practicing hard this week to be ready to use that home field advantage.
And the other thing about United, it's in the middle of nowhere, and I think some of those fans might not even find their way to the stadium.
It is in the middle of nowhere. It's a beautiful facility. One other key tonight, Mr. Courtney had a PAT blocked, and he missed one. Slight rain drizzle this evening, but not a whole lot. I heard there was a lot more north of us that was heavier. But yeah, for the first time in a long time, we saw a mishap with United's kicking game, and you don't see that at all.
Get out of the way in week 10.
Yeah, hey, he got the nerves all out of his way. Unofficially, you would have a local matchup. You would actually have a YSN school coming there, Brookfield, next week. So
it's a dangerous Brookfield team.
Yeah,
if that's the matchup.
That's going to be an interesting game because they got a big offensive line that they like to lean on.
They have a great freshman, Enrico Smith, that's been tearing it up for the Warriors. Obviously, not tonight. They had to go up against Garrettsville Garfield. That's a tough task, but against any other team that's not named Garrettsville Garfield, he's going to put up a big fight.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that is going to be an interesting region to watch. You already mentioned, Derek, there happens to be some team named Kirtland in there. There's another team that's pretty good in the playoffs sitting at number 2 unofficially right now called Mogador.
Yeah.
They usually do pretty well in the playoffs. But, hey, if you're United, you're sitting there 9-1, and I'll tell you what, that is going to be a fun time for all Eagles fans the next few weeks.
Hey, one loss, Kirtland. We're not
That's
able
right.
to say that for a long time, but one loss, Kirtland, this year, giving people just that smidge of hope.
No team in this region made it unblemished this year. So
and shout out to the Lisbon Blue Devils. They were a thorn in a lot of people's side this year.
They were.
Hats off to them for getting that one loss to United.
They also got
they're going to split that championship in the EAOC with Southern.
Yep, because Southern won tonight pretty handedly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, hey, co-champions in the conference, postseason, unofficially a home game, possibly 2. Things are looking up in United right now.
Absolutely.
Hey, we appreciate it. We've got everybody calling in tonight. I love it. This is what makes it fun for us guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a
United,
great evening.
40-0. You too. Get ready for the playoffs, Derek.
Roger.
All right, so we move along. Tim Corso coming into the house now to join us.
Coming into the house out of the darkness. Tim Corso arrives.
I'm literally outside the Golden Dawn right now.
Oh, that's funny. Are you going to get pizza?
Something Italian. Their hot sausage sandwich is amazing.
All right, Cardinal Mooney made it interesting. They came with their A game tonight, but I love what we got to really learn about Ursuline because they faced some adversity. Check that off. They handled it.
Yeah, I think that kind of dates back to fifth was a tough one, but week 7 really, tough against St. V's. It was tied by 7 at halftime, and they turned on the second half. St. Joe's week 8, same deal. And last week, they handled Cheney pretty easily. But tonight it was, they really fast start, got the ball first. Second play maybe from scrimmage, like a 40-yard run from Erickson, and they punched it in later. Mooney responded, and they got a touchdown on their own. It was a 5-point game at halftime, 15-10, and it was, what you expect from, because Mooney's a lot better than people think they are.
Yeah.
I think they can win their region. I think they really could. And and I'm nursing grass. I mean it when I'm saying that. Then second half came on, and it's Ursuline first play, interception. Jaquise Liaison got it. It was a deep shot. O'Brien tried it. It didn't work out. But Christian Lewis stole the show. He had, if not 200, it was damn close to 200. 3 touchdowns. The defense, incredible. 10 points allowed only. Well, 16 actually, rather. And, I mean, it was a complete game. The special teams played well. But towards the end of the game, they got a pick 6, kind of sealed the deal from a sophomore safety who had a big pick in the game as a freshman last year. You said it really tested what Ursuline did. I mean, they've had a lot of tough games, and what way to prepare yourself for teams like Kenston and Chardon come postseason time.
Eric, I want to talk about that pick 6, game-sealing pick 6. Mooney has the ball. They're starting to drive a little bit. They're down by 12. We're starting to talk about scenarios on the audible call. Okay, if they score here, they'll probably go for 2, go for the onside kick. And I felt like as soon as we said that, pick 6, how big was that moment?
Oh, my God. I mean, okay, at that point, because Julian and I were talking about it off the air and on the air, like, Mooney has 2.5 minutes to score 12 points. They're not even going to be able to – we didn't think they could even score 1 in 2.5 minutes. They just were not built – they're not built that way. They use a lot of run and play action. They don't take deep shots. Their receivers are dropping a lot of balls. They really couldn't get it past 10 yards, honestly. It would have been hard. They probably would have the clock run out on them anyway. But, O'Brien, he ran for a lot of yards on scrambles all night. He's a heck of an athlete, honestly.
Yeah, they were moving the ball that drive. That's what we were thinking. Like, we were going over the scenarios. They were moving it, and they were like, oh, there's a pick 6, game over.
And I think, Ashton O'Brien's a top 5 quarterback in the area, easily.
Oh, absolutely.
And you could maybe argue he's the best. But
I think we saw 2 of the best in this game.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And you had to throw that ball, and he threw it, and it went right over his receiver's head to Luke Kohler. And Kohler actually had, I don't know, unofficially, I think it might have been like UCL surgery, like spring, something. Because he has a big brace on his arm. And he wasn't supposed to come back till later in the season. He came back week 3. So good for him. He got the interception, and the whole left side of the field was open. Only person he had to beat was Ashton O'Brien, and O'Brien dove in a desperation attempt, and he kind of sidestepped him. But as he's returning that, it's like, man, we're winning this game already. Now we're adding 6 more points on our rival. It's kind of like a little salt in the wound.
With how big that game is for those communities, that is a moment he will never, ever, ever forget. Never. The pick 6 against Mooney.
Yeah, instant hero, instant statue.
Yeah, he will talk about that in 30 years to his children. He'll talk about it in 50 years to his grandchildren.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Now I'm going to make you smile even more, Tim. We knew Ursuline was heading towards that number 1 seed unofficially. They have clinched it. Yeah. I mean, they're almost 7 points ahead of that Geneva team who we saw tonight.
Yes,
they're pretty good too.
Good Geneva team.
But they would host unofficially New Philadelphia, but that's not set in stone yet. There's still some stuff to be decided. So we know that Ursuline's going to be home, and they're going to have a lot of fun up at Stanball Stadium.
I think so. I knew Philadelphia is always a team that competes. They have a good program up there. So that's probably one of the worst 16 seeds you could face, I guess. But that, if Ursuline wins, they face a good team. They can only help them. I'd rather, face 4 or 5 really good teams in a row and beat them all, even if it's by 1 point, than roll through everybody.
Yeah.
Because I know how good Ursuline is, so I know that they can make a state run. But if they get tested along the way, it's only going to help them.
I get to brag now because week 1 I was here with DJ, and he told me, he says, give me a team right now that you think could be playing 16 weeks. And he says, he goes, don't hold back on me. So I looked at him and I says, I'm riding with the Irish, and I haven't changed.
Okay.
I think that team is not that good.
Smart.
But what's weird is you look at that Chardon team, who that always seems to be the road you got to go through to get out of that division. Mm-hmm. Unofficially, they're the 7th seed.
So
that's scary.
Yeah.
I don't care what seed they are. They're always just.
Honestly, I was thinking Chardon's going to end up with an 8 or 9 seed. Nursing's going to see him around 2 at Stanball Stadium, and that wouldn't be fun. But I think that Ursuline, the biggest line this season was their biggest question was their O line. All 5 5 new starters. Only one guy actually had in-game experience on the line, and they really didn't miss a beat. They looked really, really good, and it's hard to tell because they sat behind a elite offensive line for 2-3 years, and clearly they were good enough. They just had to wait their turn, and had the skills the best in the area, and the defense might even be the best defense in the area. It just hopefully they make a long run, but I think they got the coaching staff and the players to do so.
Oh yeah.
All right, Tim, we appreciate you coming on. Great call as always, buddy. And get ready for the postseason because you might have a long, long run with it.
Thank you. I hope so. Let's get some of those audio calls in, hopefully.
There we go.
We'll get some Italian food, buddy.
There we go. All right. He's been waiting patiently. He's a good friend of ours. When you first dialed in, you were in your car. You were driving.
Yep.
And I knew we were taking so long. Now he's in his man cave. He's got his nachos down.
He's got his nachos.
Actually, I got a ranch wavy layers.
Ranch.
Yeah.
Shout out, Ranch Wavy.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I was in the car, and then I realized, well, I actually wasn't loaded in, so I thought, well, I think it'd be better off if I get home and do this. So, yeah, we're here now, but we're here. I mean, oh man, we got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about.
Well, we do because your team lost a heartbreaker tonight. And I
Yeah.
know it wasn't the season that they were expecting in any shape, form, or fashion. And for me, it's really weird to look and know that they're not headed to the postseason. That one had to be tough. But I think the thing that I probably respect the most out of A, their coaching staff, they never let the kids quit, but B, the kids never quit on them.
Right. Yeah. It was something nice to watch because you know how hard that team has struggled all season long. They've had a rough go of it this entire season. I mean, they were a completely different team playing a schedule that last year would have been a walk in the park. This year, it's just a different team. It's different players, different coaching staff, different everything. And they tried their best in every single game. I think that was one of their best games that they played was tonight. And even though it was a 1-point loss, they did the best that they could. They tried their butt off. And, you know, you got to give it up to the coaching staff just trying to put their team in a position to win. It was just all around a great game from both sides of the ball. In a game where only one extra point was made the entire game, which is mind-blowing to me.
Well, and not only that, Dom, they knew what was on the line. They knew a win, and they could get them to 16. But they also knew the L meant the end.
Right. And Southeast is battling their own seeding as well on that side. So you think of that, and then Kennedy, you think of all the turmoil that they've faced over the course of the season. And if you tell these guys, hey, we have a chance to, you know, make a playoff appearance even after this entire season, they're going to want to get it. They're going to want it harder than anybody else on that field. And they tried. It just couldn't come up with it at the last end of it. It was rough. It was rough to watch for them.
I like that you brought up their schedule, Dom, because really it was a team that was not on paper what they were last year, going up against a schedule that was built for last year's team. Like it was built for the state championship caliber team. And that's just a bad mix. But like Mike said, they never treated it like they were going to lose before they stepped on the field. Always had this mindset that we expect to win. Can you credit the program with that, and what kind of breeds that attitude?
Oh yeah, the program it's still unbelievable. I mean, regardless of how the season ended, it's still a great program to be a part of, whether you're watching it as a fan or you're just watching it just to watch it. You know, it's a great program to be, because every person on that coaching staff believes that they can make it as far as they want to. And, you know, it's something that was built into that family for a long time. And I say family because that's what the motto is for Warren JFK. I mean, we are Kennedy, we are family. They wanted to be all together during that the entire time. And, you know, it was interesting because even though there were some games where it would be, you know, a hard blowout loss, you know, they would still hang in there and try to do the best for their team and cheer on. And it's interesting. It's a testament to the fans too in the stands, because it doesn't matter. Excuse me. It doesn't matter how much they're winning or losing by. The fans are going to cheer on like they're still up ahead by 20. Like, they will never not have faith in the Eagles. Like, you'll be down 40-6 by Garrettsville, and they'll be like, "Let's go Eagles, we can do it." Yeah, it's like, it's unreal how much heart they put into this team, no matter no matter the outcome. It's just awesome. I love to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, man, we appreciate you calling in. We've got a lot of guys calling in tonight.
Yeah.
Go enjoy those Wavy Ranch chips, whatever
Get 'em
pizza,
rolling.
subs, or whatever you're eating with it. I know we'll
Yeah.
see you somewhere during the postseason, man.
Yeah,
So
of course.
let's get
Have a
ready
good
to
night,
roll.
guys.
You too. Thanks for calling in,
Thank
Dom.
you.
All right, we have a couple of people in the background. Joe CB has actually been waiting so long. He popped out and popped back in.
I figured Joe was driving, and what happened was he hit a spot where it just like took him out. So let's head down
Let's
to
bring
Joe.
Joe up, and then after that we have Matt Martin.
Yeah,
in
we
the
got Matt
studio
waiting
as
in
well.
the wings for us, but we'll go to Joe first. And Joe,
Hey guys,
you got to see a battle of win, you're in, lose, you're out.
Mhm.
And that was a great ball game. We kept checking in on that one all night between Columbiana and Valley Christian. That went the Clippers' way with a 16-6 triumph. And I believe it's been since 2017. The Clippers are postseason bound unofficially.
Yeah, unofficially. Tell you the way it started off, Jashawn Lindsay just took over and ran the Wildcat the first 4 or 5 plays, and they took it right down a minute and a half into the first quarter and scored a touchdown. And we thought, uh-oh. But after that, it was all Clips, and they definitely had the momentum. They played hard. It was probably their best played game of the year, and did a really nice job of going all out and doing what they had to do to make it happen. Kean Hartley, I think, broke the school record for tackles for a career tonight. It's unofficial. He was awfully close. We didn't get the official word, but he was outstanding again tonight.
Let's go. I love that kid. Just interviewed him this week. You can find a player profile for Kean on ysnlive.com. He's like the epitome, and you'll love this as a Steeler fan. He's like your Jerome Bettis, man.
Yeah.
He'll put up a game where he has 35 yards and 4 touchdowns because it's just short yardage. We know he can barrel people over. He said in his interview, "I just like to hit people, man. I just like contact." You know,
love that attitude.
I love it. I love it. So if that wasn't indeed an official record breaker, man, no one deserves it more than Kean. He's put in the time to this Columbiana program as a senior, and now he's gonna unofficially be in his first playoff game.
Yeah, I'm so excited for Kean. I coached Kean in basketball back when he was in 4th grade. And he played basketball the same way he plays football. He just go out and beat people up.
I love it. He told me that his first interactions with Coach Spate were, "You better get used to having your hands in the dirt, bud."
Yeah. Hey, Kean had a pick tonight. He had a nice interception in the first half. It stalled a Valley drive. And the second half, he was in on almost every single tackle they had. He just a great game for Kean. I'm really happy for him, and I'll be really interested to see tomorrow when the totals come out how if the record's his or not. I sure hope it is.
All right, I'm going to go off the beaten path here. We tuned into the game, and I said to the guys, I'm like, "What is going on in Columbiana? There's cop cars all over." It happened to be the angle of your camera at the time. There was 3 or 4 cop cars. The lights are blurring, and I'm like, "What is going on?"
I was telling Hop, I said, make sure you got the angle right on the camera, man. Make sure, because those colors, that helps the broadcast. That looks good. We're not real sure what happened. At first, it looked like a stop, like a traffic stop, just for like running one of those stop signs in the park, or maybe going too fast. But boy, they were there a long time, so we're not real sure what happened. But that was about 15 minutes of bright lights in the background.
Well, not only that, they're flashing, and the one cop car looked like he was just beyond the stands on the visitor's side.
They were real close. Yeah, the way the road goes, Firestone Park there, they were real close. And it definitely added a little something. Hoppies thought that maybe it affected the Clippers because they were driving pretty well. Then the cops turned the lights on, and then all of a sudden the Clippers stalled out 2 drives in a row. So we were speculating that maybe that it had an effect on their offense. But
did you get a chance to talk to Coach Spate? Because he's one of my favorites all time. I know he's going to be proud of this team because a lot of people wrote them off early.
We did not get a chance to talk to him tonight. They were he was very busy after the game. Of course, they do the alma mater and then they go out and do their drills out in the field. And they he was talking with everybody and everything. And Hoppy and I, quite frankly, had to go to the bathroom, so we just packed up and hit the concession stand restroom facilities. I mean, I'm an old guy, so I had an excuse. Hoppy's a young guy. I don't know what his excuse was.
Well, I'll tell you what. If somebody had told you after the United game they're 0-4 and they were going to go to week 11, you'd look at them and go, "What? Are you serious?"
Maybe, Mike, maybe. But the one thing the Clips did early on, I mean, United, that was a disaster for them. But they played Louisville tough, and they actually should have won that game. And they played McDonald tough, and they should have won that game. So it just Western Reserve and then United were bad games for them, but they should have really been 2-2 at that point. And there's just something there. And with Hartley and Cameron Clancy, the other inside linebacker, they've been 3-year starters there on the inside and have played very well. And the defense really, once they got their pass coverage issues figured out, they got burned several times early with some young guys in the defensive backfield. But once they got that figured out, the defense has really played very well the last half of the season. And offensively, Liam Surjanovic got more comfortable at the quarterback position, and they started running Liam more. And as you've seen, Liam, I don't know if he broke 1,000 tonight, but he's close. He had 860 coming into the game, and they were trying to get him to 1,000. But he had another solid game on the ground. And young Hayes McCoy, the freshman quarterback, actually threw a pass to Surjanovic. It was just a little, the famous pass that the Broncos made famous with Elway back in the day, just a little 2-yard pass, but Liam ran it in the end zone for a touchdown. So Surjanovic had his normal game, and the defense just played really well. And then in the second half, what they did was, and I don't know if you saw it, but they basically went to the old wing tee. I mean, very similar to the offense I ran at South Range back when Danny Yeagley was just a little kid. And we used to run that with Bob McNay was my coach at South Range. This is in 1978. And Danny was on that team. He was a year behind me. And that's really the offense we ran a lot because I like to run. I was a running quarterback and I couldn't pass worth a darn. So we ran that a lot. And that's what Columbiana did in the second half. They really brought everybody in tight. They had Hartley and either Parker Bush or Spencer Pruitt in the backfield. And they just rolled 5-6 yards at a crack and dominated the second half on the ground.
Well, unofficially, you don't have to travel too far next week. According to what we're seeing, it's going to be Mogador. Unofficially,
I looked at Idle really quick before I jumped on with you guys.
I have it on. Like I'm flipping through with each of you guys, and I know this. If there's a guy that wants to beat Mogador more than anybody in that region, he happens to be the coach of the Clippers. He owes them one.
Mm-hmm.
I can bet you right now he's probably already made the call. I know it's not official yet, but how about we trade film right now? He would go drive to Mogador completely the whole way, not even meet him halfway. Give me that game film, and he would stay up all night breaking it down. And if I know anything, the Clippers will be prepared next week.
Yeah, it should be a good one because there was fear that it would be Kirtland. And once the dust is kind of settled here and they looked at it a little closer, we thought, okay, maybe we can avoid Kirtland. And now Mogador is a good ball team too. But yeah, you're right. Coach Spate has that's a special mission for him on that one.
Well, Joe, the Clippers and the Clipper Clap making a return to the playoff. And great call, man.
Anthony,
congratulations. Right. I'm not going to do it for you. I can't do it as a South Range alum. I can't bring myself to do the Clipper.
I tried to get him. He said no.
As a South Range alum, I feel you. I mean, it's hard for me too. And my kid plays for Columbia. I have a hard time with it as well. I can't keep the rhythm anyway, so I usually stay away.
I have no rhythm. You don't want me doing it.
Don't ask me to do it because everybody will tune out.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
all right, guys.
Appreciate you calling in. Thanks.
No, I had a good time. Thank you.
Postseason.
Let's go.
Amen, brother. We'll see you soon.
All righty.
All right. The guy that has waited longer than anybody.
He has been patiently waiting, sitting in his studio.
He's still got the YSN hat on.
Yeah, I love it. He's always
rocking
it.
Matt Marr. How we doing, buddy? Welcome to the show. First time on, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Welcome. Let's go.
All right, you got to see a pretty good ball game. We thought it was going to be a lot closer. Niles
so did we.
On a mission tonight. Somebody done made the Red Dragons mad.
I think they made themselves mad with the way they played the last couple of weeks. They were just like, guys, let's get it together. Did you see that, Matt, too? Did you just see like this internal almost let's get it together and go out there and play like we know we're able to?
I mean, you could definitely see that they were upset about that 3-game losing skid that they were on before that. But, I mean, it honestly seemed like Girard was kind of doing it to themselves a little bit too. They couldn't tackle for anything. I mean, that was a big issue right there. And then Bengala with the ball. I mean, pardon me. I'm thinking last year. McConaughey with the ball. I mean, he either overthrew it or his teammates just couldn't catch it. I mean, that was really hurting them. There was a fumble early on in the game. And there was also a pickoff. I mean, things just weren't clicking at all for their offense, and the defense just could not stop Antoine Gardner. I mean, my God, that kid had 5 touchdowns, and he ran, when it came to scoring plays, 118 yards. That kid was unstoppable, but it's because nobody could tackle him.
Don't worry, they're not alone.
He's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
Oh, I'd say so.
That's the A train number 4 coming into the station.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I like the way their defense played because that Girard offense has been electric at times this season.
And it's different than most of the other offenses in the 8 because Girard loves to spread you out, use their speed. So it's a whole different preparation week for Niles, and they handled it really well.
I'd say so, yeah, 100%. I mean, they didn't have any issues against that defense, obviously, putting up 48 points against that a defense, which, I mean, we were even saying before the game or as we were introing, I mean, that it's a really good defense. I'm sorry if I can't think of words right now. I'm just talked for almost 3 hours. But it's a good defense. It just couldn't find a tackle, and that's really what hurt is because Gardner was able to just slip through. They ran that ball a lot, and both teams did. It was hard for them to really put that through the air. Neither team could, and it was raining at the beginning too, and I think that made the conditions really just slippery as well. It was just really wet as well, so running that ball was a little bit more of a safe bet, and it obviously worked well for Niles.
But I think the big thing was that Niles defense is what we got to talk about. Shutting down, holding Girard to 28 points. I mean, that's an offense that we've seen at times this year. At least I get to see it every week. They could score from their own 2-yard line in 2 plays or 1 play. They can light it up from the 30. It can be a 70-yard touchdown. They were quick strike, and for whatever reason, whatever Niles did defensively tonight took them out of their game because they never looked comfortable.
Usually you don't say 28 points given up is a good thing on defense. But against Girard, that's a pretty good day at the office, I'd say.
Well,
I think that all started with the fumble early on, too. I mean, it just seemed like everything just like mentally just snapped for Girard, too, and that just kind of helped Niles' defense just play against them as well. I mean, just it's hard to come back from something like that, especially when they felt that they were down. I think it was Sims, or I can't remember who had it at that point, but whoever they were trying to pass it to had the ball. He went down on his knees, and they thought that he was down first. And obviously, officials said otherwise, and it just all kind of went downhill from there. But you're talking about how good Girard's offense is. I mean, how about Anthony Bengala? That's Bengala that they still do have, so I don't have to check myself.
The right Bengala.
Yeah, it's the great one. Yeah, he had a pick 6 about the 8-yard line in their own defensive zone and ran about 92 yards for a touchdown in the 4th quarter with 7:27 still to go. I mean, wow, that was incredible. That kid's got speed, and I mean, he obviously has got good foresight as well.
Say what you will about like the season Girard's had. They have probably the fastest team maybe in the YSN family. The track stars that they have on that football team. The state level track stars that Girard has, it's incredible. That's why they try to turn it into a track meet.
No, absolutely. I mean, you got somebody like Ahmad Kurt out there on the running back. I mean, he's dangerous. They stopped him today, which was surprising. Again, you were saying how good the defense was. It clicked after that fumble. Everything just clicked well for Niles after that, and it just, I mean, they didn't even really give Kurt a chance. Yeah. He had 1 touchdown. It was for an 8-yard run though, but that was it. So they couldn't keep him off the board. But just 1 touchdown for that kid. That's impressive. Only 1 touchdown for Sims as well. Actually, it looks like there were 2 for Kurt. Pardon me. That was me misreading, but only 1 for Sims, who, wow, that kid's been on fire recently too. Steven Sims, that wide receiver. Ooh.
when you turn the ball over, you start to get a little less aggressive. And I think that was probably one of the things that happened. You get behind, you start to get a little bit unsure. And then, like you said, the mental toughness of Gerard just wasn't there tonight. But these are kids, right? And it's a big moment. They needed the win. So we're not harping on it. We're just seeing the reality. It just felt like a couple of things went wrong and they couldn't get out of that funk.
No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, they're kids. It happens. Life moves on. But also, you say this like it's a bad thing. I mean, they're still right now, according to the unofficial standings, they've clinched a playoff spot right now. They actually moved up to 9 because Liberty won and proved that they were a really good team this year, which, I mean, we could talk about Liberty if we wanted to, but that's not who I called. So, but I mean, yeah. So right now they're ranked 9th. I believe they'd go up against Cardinal Mooney in the playoffs if it were to be just done right now, if we weren't waiting for more scores to finish.
Mike, you stole your thunder.
He did. You waited all this time to steal my thunder.
Don't make me wait.
Don't make me wait.
Hey, we appreciate you calling in. We got to get to the scores, Matt. Get ready because you're going to have some postseason fun.
That's going to be a blast. Me and Jordan can't wait.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Whew.
That was fun.
That was fun, man.
I like it. See, rapid fire. What do we have? 7, 8 guys?
I lost count.
Yeah, I did
We
too.
had Ty, Dom, Derek,
Joe.
Who do we have to start? We had someone to start before Ty.
Hang on. We had Derek. We had Matt, 2. Michael, 3.
Mike McKenzie was
Yeah.
on. Yeah, that was our first one.
Eric Hughes, 4. Noah Ricks, 5. Joe Eusebio, 6. Timmy Corso, 7.
Tim Corso, 7.
So there you go. We love it.
We love our announcers.
We did. We're glad you guys called in. That made it fun. All right, you're gonna pop up.
And do you want to take a commercial break?
Yeah,
Pop up the scoreboard.
We'll do a quick break. We're gonna come back, and then we got our Burnett pools, spas, and hot tub.
Yeah,
scoreboard coming up for you, and then I'm gonna give you the unofficial count for tonight. How many YSN schools are headed to the postseason unofficially until Sunday?
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Welcome back to the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard here at YSN. Mike Ackelson along with Anthony Hartwig. Great night so far. All our announcers checking it out. I liked it.
Wouldn't be a scoreboard show without Mike Swinehart popping in on the comments.
Did he? I love it. There it is. Class 2A, Section 2 championship game set for next week. I was talking about that on the air, and you look at this. Both teams are undefeated in conference play. And it is a rivalry game. Mohawk and the Shannock. Mohawk won an impressive game tonight as they beat another rival, Western Beaver, who's usually very tough school over there in Western Pennsylvania, 31-21. We're going to get to all the scores here first, and then we're going to talk a little postseason and wrap things up. This is it. This is our final scoreboard show of the year. But
don't shed a tear, though.
I'm not. I'm trying not to.
No, don't make me cry, because if I cry, you're going to cry, and then
it's just, it gets ugly. And
let's get to the scoreboard, man.
And then I got to go, but brothers hug.
YSN Scoreboard presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. And you can find it at ysnlive.com/scores. Let's go down. We'll scroll over to the last column first, and then we'll hop over to the left side and do the rest of those games. First of the night, Hoban.
Yeah, a great game there. Hoban coming away the winner as they...
No, the loser.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, St. Ed's.
I wanted to say winner because I thought they were, but that was an unbelievable game between two of the nation's just top-ranked teams.
Mm-hmm.
We thought possible shootout because they both scored early, and then finally those defenses, when they took over, it was dynamite. 14-7 Lakewood St. Ed's. Hoban's still the team you got to watch out for in the playoffs. They are
tip of the hat to St. Ed's defense. That is by far the lowest point total that Hoban's been held to this season. So they obviously did a really good job there. And I think they had one goal line stand where they kept Hoban out of the end zone. That would have been obviously the difference when they won by 7.
Yeah. And then we go South Range. We got to talk a little bit about them. 4 straight conference championships, 31 straight conference wins in a row. They've never lost a conference game since they moved to the new stadium.
Yep.
At home.
And really, that's all NE8 because I don't think they played NE8 games at Memorial Field. I think they switched over to the NE8.
I think the first year that they were there, it wasn't the NE8.
Okay, I thought it was the Independent. The last year that they were, at Memorial Field.
And then I think their first year, they were still an Independent.
Yep. So they haven't lost a conference game, NE8 or otherwise, at home at that Memorial.
Defense was awesome. The offense was opportunistic tonight for the Raiders. Typical game plan. Kudos to Coach Rock and his staff. Those players are unbelievable. I think they're playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, even though they're the defending state champs.
Yeah, but everyone knocked them before the season started.
Yeah, and then when they lost week 2, everybody goes,
okay, we told you.
Okay, here we go. Well, guess what? 8 weeks later, they haven't lost another game.
I say it all the time. If you were going to get them, you get them early.
Yeah.
And 2 teams had a little bit of an opportunity, couldn't do it. And then after that, they just ran roughshod the rest of their schedule.
Well, and not only that, losing week 2 may have been the best thing.
Right.
Because that just let Coach really get into the kids' heads and say, this is what we've got to do.
You know what?
They bought in.
Something that I saw in the first 2 weeks, and you could even argue like the next 2 weeks when they won, but it wasn't super convincing. It looked like they were still trying to be last year's team.
Yeah.
And they didn't have like that, like we're a new team, we have a new identity. And they really do. Like they do a lot of the things that last year's team did well, but they have some wrinkles in this team that's just different than last year's.
Yeah.
And once they bought into we are our own identity, we are our own team, that South Range team just ran away with it.
Now the tough news for Hubbard, that loss is all likelihood going to keep them out of the postseason.
We knew it. We after they lost last week, which is one they really needed, and when they lost late to Gerard, we knew it was going to be a really tough situation for Hubbard. They were going to have to win or get some help.
Yeah, and it just didn't work out their way. A great game tonight down at Beaver Local. Lakeview goes down there. They get a 6-point win.
I mean, Mike talked about it earlier. What a big win for that program at Lakeview.
Well, I looked. Beaver Local's 4 losses, all to NE8 schools.
Yeah. So they're not probably going to move into the NE8 anytime soon.
Probably not.
Probably
right not. Louisville over Springfield tonight, 27-13. So I believe that splits their conference championship.
Yep.
So that one works out that way. Lisbon, no problem with Wellsville. They have apparently punched their ticket to the postseason. Camel got drilled by Liberty, and Liberty, everything I'm seeing, all signs are pointing to them playing in a Week 11 game.
Every year they're a second half of the season team. They have a tough start, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, Liberty, and then this is what they did this year. So
game of the night,
Leopards.
Yeah, game of the night though. Pulling Struthers, everything it was built up to be. Rivalry game, throw the records out. They swapped leads. They go to overtime. Pullen scores first, boots the extra point. Struthers then answers. Got all the momentum in the world. They're going to go for 2.
They're going to go for 2.
Penalty.
false start.
Backs
Back
them
them
up,
up 5
and
yards.
at that point, you and I both said on
Well,
the
they're gonna
audible
kick it
call,
now.
"Oh, they're going to kick it here." Okay, let's take a timeout. They come out of the timeout, and I was trying to check some scores, and you go, "They're going to go for it." I'm like, "What?"
They're going for it, man.
But hey, I'm going to give Struthers their due here. They came to win.
Right.
They rolled the dice. It just didn't work their way tonight, but kudos. That's two teams I'm not sure anybody wants to see the first couple rounds of the playoffs.
That's one of the perfect examples of just because something didn't work doesn't mean it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, if that works and they win, you're calling that coaching staff geniuses, and they're getting praised, and they get but it didn't. So that's a gamble you take. You're going to get questioned about it. I bet every reporter that asked them questions probably asked, "Why do you go for 2?" Their family's going to ask why they went for 2. So you're going to have to eat that all week, but I don't think it necessarily means it's a bad decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Edison, it looks like they've also punched their ticket into the playoffs. So 26-6. All right, so now we go over. We'll swing it again one more time and go up and bring it down for you. Another good game tonight. Austintown Fitch down 13-0 going to the second half. They reeled off 14 points. Blocked an extra point.
Blocked a field goal.
Forced a missed field goal. And then blocked a field goal late and run out the clock and say, "See ya." They needed that win.
Just your classic Fitch Harding game. I mean, those two teams are always just like not just good games, but games where I can't believe I just saw that. A blocked field goal is so rare. 2 blocked field goals is even more rare. It just crazy stuff happens when Fitch and Harding get together.
Yeah. Now, Canfield, no problem with Boardman tonight, 45-6. And speaking of teams that are kind of on a roll, you can make that 5 straight for the Cardinals after a 1-3 start.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, West Branch's only loss this season happens to be to Canfield.
Week 1, Canfield. And that's where we saw that win, and we had such high expectations for West Branch. And when they won, that was when we saw, Canfield's going to be good this year. And then all of a sudden, they went on a 3-game losing streak. A lot of people started to write them off, and they said, hold on. And 5 wins in a row puts them in a pretty good playoff spot.
Yeah. And they didn't say, they said, hold my drink.
Hold my Gatorade.
Yeah. Hold my Gatorade.
Or Powerade, whatever you're.
Yeah. This isn't over until we say it's over.
Maybe some water.
So
lemonade.
Yeah. And then the City Series battle, as I still like to call it, Cheney all over East. Unfortunately, not enough for the Cowboys. It appears they will not punch their ticket to the postseason. And then we have Conneaut losing to Madison. However, Conneaut, it looks like they're going to be playing in week 11.
Yeah, but 2 tough weeks in a row for Conneaut when they were rolling on what seemed like all the momentum in the world. They lose to Lakeside last week, and then they lose to Madison this week. So in the playoffs, but you have to be a little bit worried. Are they stumbling into the playoffs?
Yeah, and that's the tough thing. You look at that and you're wondering, I'm not sure where we're going to go. Niles, they came out and they made sure that they were going to punch their ticket. Girard, even with the loss, all signs pointing for them to go to week 11 as well.
A pretty good game with Crestwood and Grand Valley, too. I mean, that one went down to the wire. Crestwood, a pretty good football team, does get the win, 28-27.
Yeah, so you go there. And
Geneva's Geneva.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they're pretty good. I believe they're 9-1. So they beat Jefferson 57-13. Crestview, 3 touchdowns better than LeBray. Edgewood. This is a tough one for Lakeside. We know last week they kind of surprised Conneaut. Well, Lakeside at one point had the lead in this game.
Yeah, they were playing really well.
And they had to win to have any hopes of going to the postseason. Edgewood said, not tonight, my friend. So they ended that 38-20. Southern, they're rolling along. They pitched a shutout over Latonia. Middle Ridge, you want to talk about 2 schools. They're friends. They're not friends when they play. This is, you talk to anybody that has gone to either Middle Ridge or McDonald. When you win this game, especially if you're a senior, you have bragging rights for life. And trust me, any kid that is a senior on that Middle Ridge team will remind any McDonald kid, it could be 30 years from now. Hey, do you remember 2023? And the McDonald kid's going to be like,
come on, man.
I kind of blocked that. And he goes, oh, well, we didn't. We were 33 points better than you. We beat you 40-7.
Now, this basketball matchup becomes really interesting because a lot of these kids are going to play basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how you get your revenge.
Yeah.
You go and you beat them on the basketball.
But they're not done there because they may meet in track and field and they may meet
baseball.
in baseball. So
that's what I love about high school sports. The rivalry is not done because these kids are going to play the next sports in the line.
Pie Valley, they pitch a shutout tonight, 36-0.
By the way, Mike, I just want to go back to Lakeside real quick because I got an update from Mike Schweinhart. They're only out of the playoffs because Ellett upset Akron East and bumped ahead of them.
Yeah.
So they could have lost and gotten in. It wasn't necessarily win and get in because I don't think a lot of people expected Ellett to win tonight.
Yeah.
But Ellett got the upset. They bumped Lakeside out of the playoffs.
Yeah. Unofficially, though. We got to say that.
Unofficially, according to Joe Itel.
But still some games to go on yet in that region in Division 2. University School blanked Hallam, Ursuline. That was a good ball game for a while. But late they pulled out. They get a pick six.
The pick six made it even
the run on the pick six was phenomenal. He was sidestepping, he was juking, he was jiving, and you said you believed the interception was by
we were guessing because we couldn't see. I said, I bet that's DC Farrell, but it wasn't. Okay. We got confirmation from Tim Corso.
Okay. And then Columbiana, whatever this was, it was a playoff game in week 10.
Yep.
Winner in, loser out, all points, unofficially going to that. Columbiana down 6-0 early. They reel off the last 16. So the Clippers, for the first time in 6 years.
Yep. First time for any of those players.
Yeah. They're going to get to play Halloween weekend. West Branch, 9 straight wins. I remember we talked about this last week, Anthony. You said, that's a rivalry game. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
And I said,
Nah.
This Warrior team is different. Yep. And they have been on a roll. They're going to be fun to watch in the postseason.
I thought they'd score more.
Yeah. We did too.
They took their props. They held back. They showed restraint. They took their foot off the gas pedal a little bit.
I'm not sure any player from Salem feels that way.
They probably could have made this a lot worse.
Yeah.
49.
Western Reserve, that's a team that's definitely flying under the radar.
Yes.
They're going to play in week 11. United also getting there. East Palestine had to go pull the upset.
Yep.
Needed a lot of help. United just looked at them and said, not tonight.
Yeah, and we talked to Derek Rhodes. United East Palestine had a couple of drives where they were moving the ball, and that's been their prerogative all year. They're a much better team. Their program's going in the right direction, and even though they'll miss the playoffs this year, if you said the East Palestine wouldn't even have a chance in Week 10, a lot of in the years past, it just wasn't even there. So you keep moving in the right direction if you're East Palestine and build off this season.
So champion Newton Falls, 2 teams playing definitely for pride, rivals, neighboring schools. Late in the game,
one of the most wild
plays. One of the most bizarre plays. It looked like to me the punter pulled the ball back. Brian says it was blocked. It went off a player's back.
Someone else said it went off his own player's back.
Yeah, but I gotta watch it. I'm gonna have to watch it again. But it was a weird play, but all of a sudden Champion has life.
Right.
On the very next play, the Tigers pick it and say, no soup for you.
No soup.
So good win for Newton Falls to end the season.
No.
Yeah. A tough loss for JFK tonight. They knew what they had to do.
Yep.
They had to win to have any hope of getting in. Didn't happen.
Dom O'Brien said it too, but there's a team across the field that needed the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's always tough.
And that is. But that was a good ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I believe there wasn't one extra point made in this game, according to him.
Yep.
So, and then Garrettsville, Garfield, the
G-Men
getting ready for the postseason. They're a tough out.
Yeah.
And there's teams right now going,
the only thing that you're nitpicking because all these scores ended up being, blowouts anyway. But the last 3 weeks, the first quarter, not necessarily going Garfield's way. They were tied with Crestview.
Yeah.
They went down the Newton Falls 14-7. This one was close after a quarter. So you just, as a coaching staff, you're going to look at that and be like, okay, can we get off the faster start so we don't have to blow people out in the second and third quarter?
Yeah.
but that's nitpicking. But to be a great team, you kind of have to nitpick a little bit.
It's kind of neat because if you look, United Brookfield, all signs point to them playing next week in the first round of the playoffs. So we move along. Orange, they end their season with 2 wins. Not a good night against West Geauga. East Liverpool, they appear that they're going to get into the playoffs. Tough one against Weir tonight, 47-12. And then over in Western Pennsylvania, Mohawk, they set up the big matchup next week with a 31-21 win over Western Beaver. The section title is up for grabs between them and our rival, Neshannock. That's going to be a great ball game.
That'll be our only regular season game next week, too.
And then I do have to mention, we do have 8-man football.
Yep, Sebring.
They got the win, or they fell tonight to Chalker. 62-20, the final from there. And did we have the Waterloo score on there? I don't believe we did.
I don't think it was on the
They beat Bridgeport 28-12 was the final from that one. Okay.
Mike, I'll let you read this comment because it's a long paragraph.
All right.
I have bad vision. So.
All right. So the Battle of the Bridge Trophy staying with the Edgewood Warriors. Good win over the Lakeside Dragons. And congratulations to Tony Hall breaking 2 Ashtabula County records. Bring on the possibility of a playoff matchup against West Branch.
Okay, they want the Warriors. The Warriors want the Warriors. I like it.
The Warriors.
And
careful what you ask for.
When you break not just your school record, but your county record.
I like it. They're heading in there on a high point. So you got to like that. Hey, it's a postseason. Anything can happen.
Yep.
Remember, ask West Branch last year, did they think Jefferson had a chance?
No, and that's another Ashtabula County
Yeah,
school.
those Ashtabula County schools.
They can sneak up on you.
They come to play. They are hard-nosed, tough kids. I love it. So, all right. So that's our scoreboard. Now we're going to talk a little postseason.
Yep, playoff scenarios.
I still got 21.
Unofficial.
Yeah, unofficially, of course. All this is unofficial, okay? It's official Sunday, but we like to kind of look ahead a little bit in week 10.
This is like, what would you say, like 96, 97%?
Like
Joe Itel is almost never wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not official, but it's as close as you're possibly going to get.
There might be like 1 or 2 changes.
Right.
Across 7 divisions.
And I bet it won't be at the 8-9 matchup and it won't be 16 or out. Like those are pretty much.
Yeah, it's usually a swapping of a, team goes from 12 to 10 and the other 2 drop, but that's usually a bit. All right. So we don't have a team in YSN that plays in Division 1. So we're not going to talk about them right now. But Division 2, Region 5, there's that school called Archbishop Hoban. Archbishop Hoban, excuse me, I'll say it correct. They're 8-1. They have apparently, all signs point to them unofficially. Here, I'll do this so you can see it unofficially.
Air quotes, yep.
Yeah.
But you don't air quote unofficially.
Yeah.
You would air quote officially.
Oh, okay.
For the
All right. Anyhow, according to Joe Itel, they have clinched the top seed.
Right.
They're pretty good. There's some pretty good teams in there. But we would have 2 YSN schools because Fitch and things have changed. When Ty was on the air, we thought they might be on the road. They're going to be the 8th seed right now unofficially. So they could get a home game, and I know Ty would like another drive there.
Unofficially, maybe Shaker Heights, right?
That's... Yeah. And Archbishop Hoban unofficially, Cleveland Benedictine. But that's not official because there's 3 teams in there. It's not decided yet.
Right.
So
this is why we're saying
again, that's why we're saying it. So we have 2 teams in Division 2. I'm chalking these down as we talk. Now
I'm surprised Benedictine. I mean, they're always a scary team.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's
when I
don't overlook them.
When I see them as a 16, I'm like, what?
Yeah. All right. So now let's go Division 3, Region 9. According to Joe Itel, Ursuline has wrapped up the number 1 seed. So you know what that means. They get the friendly confines at Stambaugh Stadium for them
for 2 weeks.
Yeah. And Canfield is one of our teams in there, and that's it. But also in that division, a very good Geneva team. Aurora's tough to play. Kenston, Gilmore Academy, Villa Angela St. Joe's, Chardon, the 7th seed.
There you go.
So they would play CVCA in the first round.
That's oh.
If you're CBCA, you're going, oh.
What in the world?
Yeah. And they were pretty much in that 10th spot and not going to move this week.
Right.
So, again, still some things to figure out on the bottom one because Notre Dame Cathedral Latin, their game's not in. If they win, they might bump New Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll depend. So Ursuline might not have their matchup set in stone until this all washes out. So that would be 4 YSN schools in the playoffs. All right. So we got that. Let's move to Division 4. So we look at Division 4. This one's going to be fun, man. You're going to like this. Right.
This is when we start to see more and more YSN teams.
Oh, yeah. And we see a lot. 16 teams make it, right? Over half of them are YSN schools in this region. Canton South is number 1, but then, here, just listen, I'll rattle off. Poland right now at 2, West Branch at 3, Struthers at 6, Niles at 7, Mooney 8. All those teams get home game. Edgewood 9, Girard 10, Beaver Local 11, East Liverpool 14. That would be 9 schools, if I'm right.
I hate to backtrack. I looked it up, though. That NDCL game has happening tomorrow.
Okay.
So we're waiting on that for some results.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Now, again, here, Mogador Field and Ravenna still control their own destiny.
Mm-hmm.
But it's saying here that East Liverpool has clinched a spot. They could be 14 or they could fall to 16. So unofficially, they should be in.
They're in.
So all of a sudden, we go from 4 YSN schools to 13. And the school that's just going to miss out, Hubbard. They're going to finish 17th.
What are the point? How close were they?
Well, right now, the way it's looking, it says Northwest is ahead of them with 7.7500. Hubbard finished is with 7.7104.
Oh, this
4 100ths of a point.
That winning. I mean, you hate to. That winning Girard would have done it.
Well, real quick because we got time.
Yeah.
We look back. Niles was a tough loss. Poland really handed it to him. Struthers got him good. What really hurt was they started off with 3 wins, lost 3, got a win, but then they lose 3 straight to end the regular season.
Right.
The Lakeview game, they had
Lakeview
chances.
really hurt too.
Yeah, but they lost by 14. Then Girard, they laid everything on the line in their season finale at home. Just couldn't get it done. And then, I'm sorry.
Like we said last week, you were put in a position where you had to beat South Range.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen.
Yeah, and that one's a tough. Hubbard traditionally year in, year out, good program. This was a tough year for them.
Yep.
So
they lost a lot of stuff from last year.
Oh yeah. So that gets us through 4 divisions, 3 actually, because we don't have anybody in Division 1.
But now D5, which gets just as fun.
Oh yeah, I like D5 here as soon as I get it to pop up. All right, unofficially, South Range would be 2.
Mm-hmm.
Garfield would be 6. Lakeview would be 8. Lakeview would play another YSN school, Edison.
How about that? Lakeview getting a home game.
How about that?
Let's give a tip of the hat
Kudos
to them.
to a program that was down in the dumps a few years ago.
0 wins.
Yeah.
Back-to-back seasons. I think it was 3 and 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Now, again, according to this, the only school that might be able to get in is Chagrin Falls, but they're waiting on something due to Triway and Orville. So it's going to depend who wins that game. The 16th seed could still pop in or out. Crestwood needed a win tonight, but I don't think they got enough help.
Yeah, they got the win, but
yeah, they took care of their business, but it's not going to be enough. So when you add that up, that's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 schools because Liberty's in there. So that's another 6 schools we add, and all of a sudden we're at 19 schools. Gotta like that.
Gotta love it.
So,
and I think the lower you go in divisions, the more YSN dense it becomes.
Yeah, and you're gonna love Division 6 because this one gets real fun. Except everybody's going, great. Kirtland's in this division. I don't like them. Why do they have to be here?
Here's your prize.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
used to California model where the top 32 teams just have their own bracket.
Yeah. So you go there, unofficially United's 4th, Pie Valley's 5th, Jackson Milton's 7th, Crestview 10, LeBray 11, Brookfield 12, Mineral Ridge 14, Columbiana 15, and on the outside looking in is Valley Christian. Not close. It's almost a point and a half.
Right.
So that's another 8 schools. And what's cool about that is it's not official yet, but it looks like United could play Brookfield. So I like it that,
So all YSN matchup, we love those.
Yeah, we love those here at the network.
Because no matter what we're celebrating.
Yeah. And then here's one for you. Jackson Milton Crestview. That's a potential matchup.
I would love that. That just screams good matchup. Good offense versus good defense.
Yeah. And then as I mentioned earlier, Columbiana has to go play Mogador. If you're Ravenna Southeast, you remember they had to win to get in, right?
Mm-hmm. You got to win. Congratulations.
You're 16. Welcome to Kirtland. So, but that's 8 more schools. So now we'll wrap it up and we will go to Division 7, Region 25. Dalton would be your top seed unofficial. All this is unofficial now, folks. Don't hold me to it. Danville is 2nd, Toronto 3rd. Western Reserve, 5th. Malvern, Hillsdale, Lucas. Lowville with their win tonight. And this is going to get real good here, folks. They go at 8. 9 is Springfield.
Oh, rematch city.
Oh, baby.
Round 2.
Back weeks.
That's a tough.
Potentially
If that holds up, tough draw for Lowville, man.
Yeah.
You have to beat the team that you just beat again, and it's a very good Springfield team.
Yeah, you better believe Sean Guerrero is going to be prepared for that.
He's licking his chops.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
Monroeville would be 10. Southern Local is 11. So they would go to Hillsdale. And then you have Steubenville Central Catholic at 12. They would come to Western Reserve.
Okay. I like that matchup for the Blue Devils.
13, Lisbon. They're going to Toronto. They've played a few games.
They've played before.
So that one's going to be fun to watch. And then you have Norwalk St. Paul and McDonald at 15. They get to travel to undefeated Danville.
Danville.
I know this. I'm not sure I want to come in for film tomorrow and face Dan Williams, other than the fact he's going to tell you, get this out of your mouth.
Right.
Get this, wash this away, because we've got business to take care of now. He'll have them ready to play.
Right. And he's also not a burn the films kind of guy. Like, he's going to show them.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to make them live through that. Like,
Yeah.
this is everything that we did really wrong.
Yeah.
And you're gonna have to watch it and break it down with me, and we're gonna go over this.
This is gonna be painful.
There's no burn the film and never think about it again with Dan Williams.
Yeah. So, and the only other thing that could have happened there had been JFK. Had they won, they could have gotten to the 1 point short. And you think about it, their whole season came down to one game. 1 point.
1 point.
So
one play.
That's 6 more teams. So unofficially, I have 33 making the postseason.
That is
buckle
30.
it up. Let's go.
That's more than half.
Yeah.
We're
Now,
more than 50%.
we got guys chiming in here.
Yeah, look.
Mike's
they're talking to each other.
Unofficially, Fitch will be the 10th seed. And he says, you come into our playoff game.
Yeah. You come to our playoff game?
Yeah. Because he says Barberton won, and that would
Right.
jump Fitch. And again, like we've been saying, all this is unofficial, but we're allowed.
So now we have to backtrack and say, as of now, unofficially, Fitch is the 10 seed.
Well, here, this is how fast it's changing. Remember, I told you they were 8; they're now 9.
Oh,
so they would actually go to Shaker Heights instead of Shaker Heights. Ty, you're on the road. So, hey, it's been fun. I'll tell you what, this has been the fastest 10 weeks that I can ever remember. I've had a blast. Yes, we had some growing pains in our new digs here at the Athletics, but it's awesome. And I know people are going to be like, well, why weren't you guys ever on camera? Well, here's the thing. They're still working on Wi-Fi here. Still trying to get it in completely. We were using hotspots and everything.
Honestly, I think halfway through, we kind of liked the setup without a camera and the
Yeah,
audible
because
call.
it freed me up to roam a little more.
We told Brian, like, hey, let's just not worry about trying to hassle and stress over fixing it. Let's just talk over the games.
And that's the thing. Like, it would go out a few weeks, and we just decided, hey, we're okay with this. Anthony and I are okay. We punch, and we kind of took a little different, we talked a little less this year, but there was a reason.
We have great announcers.
We wanted to show off our announcers. Right. And for every guy that has done games, and real quickly, I'm going to do this. You can fire in if you want. But we got Ty, Donnie Riccatelli, Don Mascola, Steve Hodge, Tom Otto, Alec Caberna, Tyler Hartz, and the Grand Valley students, Gary Burton, Scott Rogers, Derek Rhodes, Matt Marr, Jordan Barber, DJ Yoakley, Chris Colucci, Sean Prine, Ray Torrado, Tony Perazzo, Sam Torres, the 440 guy, and Larry Jennings, Michael McKenzie, Chris Sigler, Noah Doherty, CJ Shrouds, Zach Svensson, CJ Bacco, Eric Hughes, Noah Ricks, Tim Corso, Julian Johnson, Joe Eusebio, Dom O'Brien, Nate DeCross, Quinn Pushkar, Matt Mowry, Jarrett
Niederheiser.
There we go. And John Ostapopwitz, Bob Zanny. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Jamie Thompson. And Michael Janaki.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. You guys were awesome all year. We're not done. It's postseason time.
Shout out to Gary Niddle, too, doing Campfield games in the color commentary.
Yeah. So we are ready to roll. We appreciate you, but it's playoff time here. We're going to get ready. So I'm going to do one last thing. This is going to make the boss proud of us. Audible call, last one for the year, Monday night, 7:30. Tune into YSN. We're going to do a playoff preview.
We got something cooking, don't we?
Yeah, we got something cooking big time. So we're going to have a lot of fun Monday night starting at 7:30. We might be on for a while.
You know what? We feel confident that we're going up against Monday Night Football.
I'm good with it. I don't like the Monday night matchup anyhow.
No.
And by the way, my Penguins don't play Monday night, so I'm good.
So we're all good.
Hey, thanks for joining us, man. We really appreciate you guys. Everything. Anthony, it's been a blast. We'll be back next year. But right now, we're going to the postseason. Thanks for tuning in to the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard.